interest that you are showing to our panel. Today I have actually three distinguished guests with me. Not only the guests, but they are very dear friends to me. Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, Bedr Abdulati, Prime Minister and Foreign Affairs of Palestinian State, Dr. Mohammed Mustafa, and Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Expatriate of Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, my dear brother Ayman al-Safadi. They are here today with us to discuss about Gaza, Palestine, and future of Middle East. All day, almost today, starting from the morning, we had intense conversations and discussions about Palestine and what's going on in Gaza and future of Palestine. And today, I am trying to do the job of the moderator here. Hopefully, I can do it. So we have a little bit time pressure here. We are under time pressure because some of our colleagues have to attend other appointments. So I will start, with your permission, with my dear friend, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Egypt, Bedr Abdulati, who has been very much busy in conducting negotiations and mediations for ceasefire. Also, in the last couple of months, Egypt has become very busy together with Palestinian state and other Arab states in preparing a Gaza reconstruction future plan. That plan doesn't only include a physical reconstruction, but also a proposition for security and governance. And we cannot have any better person other than Minister Bedr Abdulati to really tell us where are we on reconstruction plan, what it entails, and how is it seen by the other side.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, my dear brother, my dear Minister Hakan Fidan. It's always a great pleasure to be here in Turkey, and we are very appreciative for the kind invitation. And I believe that it's timely to have such kind of discussions within this Antalya Diplomacy Forum on this very important issue. It's indeed a matter of urgency now to focus on the implementation of the Arab and Muslim reconstruction and the early recovery plan, which is now endorsed by 57 Arab and Muslim countries, as well as a lot of international players, including the European Union and others. So we are realistic. We do understand that implementation of this important plan is, of course, depending on having an immediate ceasefire. Ceasefire is very important in order to allow us to convene our international Cairo conference for the early recovery and the reconstruction of Gaza. And that's why we are moving and pushing very hard with Qatar, with the United States, in order to conclude a deal which will secure the release of some of the hostages and some of the detainees in return of having a period of calm and entry of humanitarian and medical aid into Gaza, and that should lead to sustainable ceasefire and to start a negotiation for the second phase of the ceasefire agreement, which was approved and signed on January 19th. Hopefully, with the ceasefire, we will convene the Cairo conference on 2 days in full cooperation with the international community, with the United Nations and its specialized agencies on 2 days. 1 day will be dedicated to 4 workshops, one dealing with the role of private sector, one will deal with the issue of governance and security, one will deal with the early recovery as an urgent phase in order to allow and to enable the Palestinians to stay on their homeland by providing decent necessary measures on the ground, including temporary housing units and, of course, drinking water, sewage, and other basic services. And the 4th, of course, will be dedicated to the issue of financial instrument under the World Bank and the United Nations. And the 2nd day will be, of course, for the high-level segment to focus on the ways and means of implementation of the Arab and the Muslim early recovery and reconstruction plan, where we are fully coordinating with the Palestinian Authority, with the Palestinian government, with the UN, in order to move forward and to make this reconstruction plan applicable on the ground through having executive implementation plan in full cooperation with the Palestinian Authority. This is what we are trying to do. In order, the main objective is, of course, to enable the Palestinian people to stay in their home because there is no legal or moral or whatever justification to push them out of their homeland, either under the title of what's so-called the voluntary displacement or forced displacement, or for temporary period of time or for permanent period of time. All names, all slogans which will deprive people from staying on their homeland is absolutely, as we always saying in Jordan, in Egypt, red lines for us, and we will not allow this to happen. So this is what we are This is what we are trying to do in full cooperation with our friends in the United States, with Qatar, with the international community, and that's why it was very important, timely meeting to have for the Arab and the Muslim Ministerial Committee to meet today, and then to meet with the extended international partners from Europe, from Russia, from China. So that's why we are grateful for Turkey for having this meeting. So we will continue to work on that, and we are in the final stage of preparations with United Nations and, of course, with all stakeholders and our partners in the Palestinian government and authority in order to be well prepared as soon as we have a ceasefire. We will have the conference, and then we will make it applicable on the ground. As you all know, we have 3 stages: early recovery, first phase of reconstruction, and second phase of the reconstruction, with specific time frames and cost for each one. We will push, we will do our best, of course, to make it happening on the ground. And of course, issues related to governance and security. We are very serious. We are talking with the Palestinians, with the Arab partners, with the Muslim partners, with the international partners, in order to address issues related to the day after in Gaza. Who will run Gaza? We have a clear answer and an understanding, as we always saying, an administrative temporary committee consists of 15 persons, all independent, all technocrats, all from Gaza, none affiliated to factions, will run Gaza for 6 months under the full cooperation and control of the Palestinian government. And that during this 6 months period, the Palestinian Authority will be empowered in order to be fully deployed in Gaza, to run Gaza from the security point of view, from the daily life point of view, from everything related to governing Gaza and in order to guarantee and assure the unity between Gaza and the West Bank. The same for security, and we have a vision, we have a specific ideas for the security. Who will take care of security? The answer is very clear. The Palestinian themselves, and that's why we are empowering the Palestinian policemen, providing training and recruiting new members in order to be deployed in Gaza to take care of the law and order and security in Gaza. And of course, we are standing ready for deployment of an international force, protection, peacekeeping, whatever we call it, to be there in order to provide security and protection for the Palestinians, and of course, to move forward with having a political horizon which will lead to the realization of the Palestinian state. Let me conclude by saying that no peace, no security for Israel, for any country in the region, without finding a final solution of the Palestinian cause based on the approved, agreed international parameters, and the realization of the Palestinian state on the lines of the 4th of June, 1967, with East Jerusalem as its capital. This is the only guarantee to have peace and stability in our neighborhood.
Thank you, Badr. Thank you. You are excused. You have some other appointments to attend, but you are saving yourself from the questions.
He answered all the questions.
Yeah. He answered all the questions. Well, as Badr explained to us, there is one danger here. No matter what answers we give for the ceasefire or future of Gaza governance or reconstruction, it's not finding any echo or reasonable reaction from the other side. The reason is, as the time is being showing us, they have no intention of actually seeing the Palestinian people in Palestine. So any proposal to have a ceasefire or to bring an alternative order and services to Gaza or the West Bank is not welcomed by Israel, because they want a Palestinian territory without Palestinians. And they are not shy of displaying this policy. So in the light of this development, I like to turn to Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa. He is someone that I really admire very much. No matter the circumstances are difficult, he has an excellent work ethic and enthusiasm, and he's trying to keep West Bank together by delivering basic services, by finding finance, and by really attending every daily business of the Palestinian people. So, dear friend, how is the situation in West Bank now? You know, we are paying a lot of attention to what's happening in Gaza and the genocide in Gaza, but at the same time, we know that there is another series of crimes taking place in West Bank. So what is the situation in West Bank through your eyes? How optimistic are you for the future of Palestine? And what else can be done to advance the agenda of two-state solution?
Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate your hospitality and your leadership and the meeting earlier today. I think it was a very well run, a very effective meeting, came at the right time, but also we're pleased to be part of the ADF this year and be contributing to that. So thank you for the opportunity. The future of Palestine, I'll start from there, if I may. The future of Palestine will be bright. As long as we have people on the ground that love their country as we do, they are so resilient, you can be hopeful. So displacement is a threat, destruction is a threat, wars are a threat, settlements are threats, economic sanctions and economic hardship is a threat, but our people will prevail. Our people will prevail. Having said that, I think when the Gaza war started, we always said that the war did not start on October 7th. Our people in Palestine have been subject to all sorts of wars, displacements, destruction, hunger, whatever you want to call it, for 77 years, since 1948. So we had no illusions that what's happening in Gaza is just another chapter in this long journey for independence for Palestine and for peace and security for the region. So we have no illusions that this is just another war. Therefore, we have acted responsibly so that we not only try to protect our people in Gaza, but also try to stabilize the situation in the West Bank. So while the war in Gaza continued, unfortunately, our people in West Bank, especially in the refugee camps of the West Bank, have been a subject of Israeli illegal actions, displacement again within the West Bank from refugee camps to cities, and financial siege in order to make things difficult for people to stay and live in West Bank, especially in addition to refugee camps, especially in East Jerusalem. There are all kinds of hardship facing our people in Jerusalem. So the Israeli efforts to undermine our presence as Palestinians in the West Bank has always been there, but clearly been more clear in the last few months. I think more than 60,000 Palestinians have been displaced from refugee camps in the West Bank. More than 200,000 people were kicked out of their work in Israeli companies. There have been 900 checkpoints established within the West Bank to prevent movement and access of people and goods, make life miserable and difficult. So all these efforts add up to one thing. They do want to see Palestinians in their land. That's what it is, whether it's in Gaza or in the West Bank. The objective is the same. They do want to see Palestinians stay in their homes, demand their independence day after day, and so on. So the good news, and that's why I'm so optimistic, is that despite of all of this, our people are staying the course, continuing with their struggle for independence. And we will protect our land. We will protect our future by sitting on our land, in our country, whatever it takes. So having said that, I just want to add something, that although things are difficult, although we as a Palestinian government are committed to continue to do everything we can to prevent displacement, to prepare a better future for our people in Gaza, but also to pursue the objective of independent state, we should not forget to thank all the friends and partners in the region and around the world who have been consistently supportive of our cause. The good news is, despite what the Israeli side is doing, there is 149 countries around the world recognize Palestine as a state. And that's important. That's important. So we will stay the course, but I want to take this opportunity to thank Turkey specifically for the good work that the President Erdogan, the government, and yourself, of course, my friend, for all the good work you are doing to support our people.
Well, thank you very much, dear friend. You know, from your statement, it's very clear that you are again and again exposing one clear fact that Israel's main objective is to make the entire Palestinian territory a place where no one can live. Hard methods, soft methods, war, blockade, whatever measure necessary to make the Palestinian territory unlivable, they are taking. So it is taking place in the eyes of entire world. So it is our primary duty to first expose this and to develop action against this and to take measure against this. Now, speaking of all the actions and measures, we have a distinct guest here, Foreign Minister of Jordan. Jordan, as you know, has been a part of regional and international, all the efforts when it comes to Palestine. And my dear friend, Ayman al-Safadi, personally, for the last 2 years, I have the privilege of working together with him in many international meetings and events just to defend the Palestine. So he's very knowledgeable about it and he's very much active. So I want to ask him, through Jordan's eyes, I know that you have a specific responsibility for Masjid al-Aqsa too, and you are very close to West Bank, and you have already declared a red line for some scenarios, for future scenarios of West Bank. So when you look at overall what's happening in Gaza and the ambitions towards West Bank, and how do you see it, and how our work collectively on contact group together can be more effective, more institutionalized through our work, please.
Good evening to you all, and thank you, dear brother Hakan, for hosting us today. And I want to congratulate you on the success of this really amazing forum. And I want to stress again that we've been working together as partners with a view to achieving our common goal of achieving justice, ending the oppression of the Palestinian people, and setting our region on a course towards a future of peace, stability, and security for all. So again, I recognize the importance of our partnership, and I thank you for your efforts, dear brother. Look, I think this is a friendly audience that really knows everything that's happening in the region, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining what's happening in terms of the immediate, but I must say that we've got to, right now, identify our priorities. And the number one priority is to stop the carnage, stop the madness, stop the brutal killing of Palestinians and the destruction of Gaza. Because that is going unabated, despite our continuous efforts, not just as a group, but also among many others of our partners, to bring this brutal war to an end. We have not been able to do so. The amount of destruction is beyond description, and I think facts speak to themselves in terms of the number of Gazans killed, numbers of children killed, numbers of hospitals destroyed. I think that has crossed the record of any other conflict in modern history. As you said, we in Jordan are the closest to the Palestinians, and the Palestinian issue remains to be at the forefront of our priorities, working with our brothers and partners to try and bring an end to the conflict. And I think we've got to look at the bigger picture and really assess the strategic danger that we see happening here. If you look at Israeli policies across the region, from Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, and Syria, I think we'll see a pattern of Israel escalating under false pretenses to try and achieve its own strategic objective of expanding their territory at the expense of neighboring Arab countries. And that's something that we have to watch very, very carefully. What is it that Israel wants, and what is it that we can do to stop it from achieving it? And I think key to this is really exposing the policies of Israel, showing the long-term devastating consequences of its policies, not just on us in the region, but also in the Arab and Muslim wars, but also in Israel itself. Because I think by now, decades into the conflict, everybody knows that unless we solve the root cause of conflict, which is the Israeli occupation of Palestine, the denial of the Palestinian people of their right to freedom and safety and justice and statehood, the region will never enjoy security. And war will continue to be a shadow hanging over our region. That has been the history. So I think now the focus must be on ending the war, saving people. Imagine that since March the 2nd, not a single piece of bread has been allowed to over 2 million Palestinians who've already lost their homes and their schools and their streets and their clinics, everything. So how is denying people their basic right to food a self-defense act? How is this investment in the security of Israel, or even in the future of Israel in the region? These are the hard facts that we know, but these are the hard facts that we've been working collectively together in the group to expose to the world and to explain that there is a false Israeli narrative out there that is distorting facts and that's sowing the seed of future conflict in the region. And it's not what we in the committee have been doing or not doing that's really the reason for why this carnage and this brutality is continuing. We in the group are very unequivocal about what we want. We want to end the conflict, the war in Gaza. We want to solve the Palestinian-Israeli conflict on the basis of the two-state solution that will guarantee security, stability for all in the region, and that a sovereign, independent Palestinian state would live in peace and security alongside a secure Israel as well. That's been our proposition. That has been our plan for decades. What do we hear from Israel? And ask any Israeli officials, what is your vision for beyond the immediate wars that, and I say wars in the plural because we see what's happening in the West Bank, we see what's happening in Syria as well. And we will not get the answer. And this is the message with which we need to go, armed with facts, to the world and say, we want peace, but in order for peace to last, it has to be just. And in order for the peace to be just, it has to fulfill the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people to freedom and statehood. Nobody is looking the long term, but there are over 500,000 boys and girls in Gaza who haven't gone to school for the last 2 years. What kind of future awaits these? How is Israel going to achieve security if the Palestinian people continue to suffer destruction and continue to have their rights exposed? And we can go into Syria later and what's happening there, but ultimately the message from us in the region is that we want peace, we have a plan for peace, but we don't have a partner in the current Israeli government, and we're really all looking forward to being able to take our plan further, share it with the rest of the world, including with the United States, which is a key partner to all of us, particularly now that we have an American president, President Trump, who says he wants to make peace. And we are partners in that effort to make peace. And I think it's our job to explain that in order for that peace to happen, the Palestinians have to have their state and have to have their freedom to live side by side, Israel and peace and security. But I think we cannot continue as an international community to have the future of the region taken hostage to the ideology of the Israeli Prime Minister and to the radical extremist ministers in his government. Not only is he taking the future of the region hostage, he's taken even the future of his people hostage at the expense, in order for him to serve his political interests and for the ideologues in his government to serve that ideology. That is not the right thing. That is not going to produce peace. That's not going to produce security. And I think even Israelis themselves should ask themselves, what kind of future do they want to have? How are they going to navigate the oceans of hatred and dehumanization that the continuation of the war is creating in the region? We want to live in peace. We want all of us to live in peace, but there's only one path to that peace: ending the occupation, fulfilling the rights of Palestinians to freedom and statehood, so that a Palestinian state, again, would live side by side Israel in peace and security.
Thank you, Ayman. After our opening remarks, I would like to open the floor to the audience for Q&A, and we have almost 10 minutes, a little bit more than 10 minutes. So who would like to ask the questions? Lady over there, please. Mikrofon yok mu arkadaşlar? A mic, please. Please try to shout.
Yeah, I will shout. Okay. Thank you so much, Ministers. Lizzie Porter, correspondent for the National Newspaper. I'll shout even louder. Lizzie Porter, the National Newspaper, Istanbul correspondent. I have a question about the Egyptian Prime Minister's remarks about training a Palestinian police force. Who is doing that training, and is there a sort of timeline after the ceasefire?
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Yes. So the question is about the Egyptian Foreign Minister's remarks about training a Palestinian police force for Gaza. Who is doing that training, and is there a sort of timeline after the ceasefire for deploying them? In what sort of form would they be deployed? Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think our Egyptian colleague was trying to address the sort of the various components of what a successful plan for reconstruction would be, and any plan for the future of Gaza, which, of course, after achieving the priority of ending the war in Gaza right now, will have to stand on 4 legs. Humanitarian, early recovery and reconstruction, governance, security, and political horizon. Because without any of that, we're really not going to be able to have the ecosystem that would allow us to get out of this misery into a better future. In relation to the security aspect, there are a lot of aspects to that. We have to be able to develop a complete security structure that will ensure that Gaza is safe, and we have a convincing security plan there. Part of it is the training of Palestinian police. And I think both in Egypt and Jordan, we said we are ready to train Palestinian police. In Jordan, we've already trained police from the West Bank over the years. Egypt has trained police for Gaza. So in the context of that comprehensive plan that would allow us to move forward, whatever it takes to be able to ensure conditions of security, we're willing to do that within the context, of course, as I said, of a broad plan that stands on the 4 legs that I've mentioned. The training of Palestinian police will be something that we will be willing to do. I think Egypt already started with some numbers, and deadline and timing obviously are going to be subject to the reality of the ground. And again, before you end the war, before you allow food in, before we get days of calm, it's going to be impossible to look forward. And that's why we've been urging as a group, as a committee, as members of the international community outside our committee as well, to be able to have a ceasefire, to go back to the exchange deal that will allow us the necessary calm during which we can all come together and fine-tune whatever plans we have towards the objective of ensuring an end of the war and an irreversible path, as our dear friend Prince Faisal of Saudi Arabia has been saying, who's the chair of our committee, irreversible path to the realization of a Palestinian state on the basis of a 2-state solution, so that the whole region can enjoy peace and stability.
Would you like to also comment on that question?
Of course.
Prime Minister?
Thank you very much. I think it would be useful to put this in context as well, because we're not training police, just any police. This is the police of the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian government, and as we all know, the Palestinian Authority governed Gaza until 2007 and still have a police force in Gaza, and not been active, unfortunately, but we are now working towards re-engaging them, retraining them, and the training question then comes into that context partially. We're working together with Egypt and Jordan to train some of these members of Palestinian Authority police force that are currently in Gaza, to train them so that they can assume part of the responsibility for domestic security in Gaza. In addition to that, obviously, we are going to do additional recruitment, if you like, whether from Gaza itself, new members, but also potentially we can bring in some members of security forces from the West Bank. The idea here is that we are determined to reintegrate all institutions in Gaza and the West Bank, whether it's security or government agencies, line ministries, etc. So it should be seen in that effort. And of course, it's useful here to emphasize also the political context for all of this. And I think it's not no incident that the Arab Summit, the OIC last meeting, but also the Security Council Resolution 2735 all emphasized the importance of Palestinian Authority responsibility for everything in Gaza and the West Bank, including security. And I think the issue of one governance, one system, one army is very important.
Well, thank you. And the gentleman over there, please, you.
Thank you very much. Oğuz Üçüncü, Deputy for the ruling AK Party for Istanbul. Just because of news containing that there will be an announcement for a solution by the US government soon concerning Gaza, is there any kind of solution that includes an exodus to Syria so that the Gazans have to leave their home and their land? And is this considerable as a solution for those who are members of the contact group? Thank you very much.
Thank you. First of all, I think we've made our position unequivocally clear, both as Jordan and Egypt, but also as Arab and Muslim countries, as a member of the Islamic Arab Muslim Committee. Displacement is a red line that we will stand against. Palestinians must stay on their land. This is their ancestral homeland, and displacing Palestinians is something that we will never, ever accept. That is a common position among all of us. It's a legal position, it's an ethical position, it's a moral position, it's a human position. How could you just displace people and assume that you've solved the problem? And for us in Jordan, I think His Majesty has been unequivocally clear as well in saying that's a red line. Palestine is for Palestinians and Jordan is for Jordanians, period. No discussion of that. And I think you hear a lot of disinformation, misinformation, test balloons. I cannot speak for our brothers in Syria, but I'm sure nobody will accept the displacement of Palestinians. Syria is in a moment of transition itself. It needs all the support it can get. And that's why we're all supporting Syria and rebuilding Syria on bases that protect its sovereignty, territorial integrity, represent the rights of all its people, and preserve the rights of all its people after the decades of suffering to which the Syrian people have subjected. And Syrian refugees have yet to return home to their country yet. I mean, whether in Jordan, where we have 1.3 million Syrian refugees, or in Turkey, which have graciously hosted Syrian refugees as well, these are still in our countries. And waiting for the right moment to go home, and they cannot go home until the infrastructure for rebuilding their country have been put in place. And that's why we're urging all of us coming together to support Syria and building the new Syria of hope and fairness and justice and promise to all its people. And that's why we're all urging an ending of sanctions so that Syria can rebuild and create conditions conducive for the voluntarily return of refugees to Syria. I want to elaborate a little bit, if I may, on something that our colleague from Egypt has said. There's this narrative out there now that's trying to market what they call voluntarily migration. And if people want to voluntarily migrate, then nobody should stand in their way. And I think we need to be very careful here of to what amounts to voluntarily. When you make a place unlivable, when you destroy everything from streets to schools to bakeries to water pumps, and then you push people to leave, that is not voluntarily. We are in this hall now, and we're sitting here discussing. Somebody puts a fire to this hall, and we all run. Is it voluntarily departure from the whole, or is it we're running for our lives because the fire is going to consume all of us? So that's something that we need to look at. And we need, again, to look at the broader picture. What is it that the current Israeli government wants? Not just in Gaza. Why are they encroaching on Syrian territory now? The Syrian government has said it doesn't want war with Israel. It wants to focus on rebuilding the country. Where is the threat to Israel coming from Syria now? And yet Israel encroaches in Syrian territory, creating the seeds of future discontent. So that is, look at the West Bank, what's happening there. The confiscation of land, the settlements. And Hakan asked me about the holy sites, which to us in Jordan is a top priority, and His Majesty has made it very clear that preserving the Arab Muslim Christian identity of Arab Muslim holy sites in Jerusalem is a top priority for Jordan, and we will do everything we possibly can to protect it under the Hashemite custodianship of the holy sites as well. So look at the bigger picture, but be careful with some terms and some disinformation that come out, test balloons or false narrative. We should turn the narrative and turn the tables and say to the Israelis, you want peace, we want peace. And don't believe those who tell you that you're surrounded by countries who want to destroy you. That's not true. Here's the Palestinian Prime Minister who's saying he wants to live in peace and stability with Israel. He's Turkey, a major Muslim country, who says it wants to live in peace and prosperity. Egypt was there, Jordan was here, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, all of us. We're saying we want to live in peace, but in order to have that peace, you have to have the rights of the Palestinian people fulfilled to living on their land, in their ancestral, their land, in freedom and without threat.
Thank you, Ayman. Unfortunately, we've reached the end of our time, and one last question, and the gentleman over there. This is the last question, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Thank you very much, Excellency Foreign Minister. My name is Mohammed Mehdi from Pakistan. My question is, why have the world's burning issues like Palestine and Kashmir not been resolved through diplomacy?
I'll give it a shot. Thank you very much, my brother. And of course, diplomacy requires engagement from parties engaged in the conflict, in any conflict. In this case, in case of Palestine, unfortunately, the other side of the conflict, maybe the original source of the conflict, I should say, the Israeli side, is not really that keen. They're not in a hurry to move forward with a serious process. We have started a peace process many years ago, as you all know. We've extended our hand for peace and tried everything we can in good faith to save the region, more agony, more war, more problems. But the Israeli side continue to expand their presence through settlements, through wars, through checkpoints, through all sorts of things. Of course, undermining also our religious sites in East Jerusalem and other places. So they have done everything they can to undermine peace. So as the minute the Israeli side shows serious interest in peace, they will find us as willing partner. And as the minister, Deputy Prime Minister from Jordan just said, we all ready, we are all willing. The Arab Peace Initiative is still there. Many other Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia, are seriously looking into a regional approach to solving this problem. But then it takes a willing partner on the other side. That's what we're missing. So I think our simple request is for the Israeli side to behave more seriously, more reasonably in order to achieve peace. But when they are ready, they will find us a willing partner.
Well, thank you very much, Prime Minister. that concludes our panel. And unfortunately, we have had a limited time, but we try to make best use of it. Thank you very much for your attendance and interest.